20-year-olds don't usually think about foundations, but what was the impetus for you? Was there a moment as you were growing up that you noticed, man, I really want to do this?
I think it was just realizing the platform that us as athletes have.
Australia went the strike route. Are you guys willing to go that route if it has to be done?
I've been a part of negotiations before.
Slogan for the Final Four is "The road ends here," where earlier today we met a group of athletes that decided that their journey was not going to conclude because of cancer. The Texans knew coming into this game that there were 9 ways they could get into the playoffs, but they stressed all week that only one thing mattered. That's beating Jacksonville this afternoon.
The 2 words, breathe again. What do those words mean to you?
You know, we feel like acting out of anger. Just breathe.
As the championship trophy was given over to you guys, what's that moment like?
I was thinking we did it.
Tom Herman took over a U of H football program that needed a facelift, and wouldn't you know it, they accomplished their mission. They are American Conference champions. It's easy to overlook the complexities of football. After all, some teams just make it look easy.
And the opening touchdown.
When you break it down, though, the game is a little more complicated.
It really is like putting a little puzzle together.
Interesting choice of words for Rice redshirt freshman Calvin Anderson.
3 yards on the play.
The left tackle has found a home on the Owls' offensive line, and he knows a thing or two about solving puzzles.
I am a fun guy who likes to play football and solve Rubik's Cube.
That's right. This 6'5", 260-pound offensive tackle has mastered the world's best-selling toy.
Yeah, it's really nerdy. I know it is.
26 miniature pieces make up the Rubik's Cube. There are 43 quintillion ways to solve it. The world record is 5.25 seconds. Calvin's not far behind.
13 or 14 seconds.
It's a hobby that he picked up back in the 7th grade.
I had a friend who I would have at the time probably considered a nerd. There was one day I couldn't stand it anymore because I was always watching him do it, and I was like, I need to learn how to do this.
The first couple of times were predictably frustrating, but Calvin got better and faster.
The finger movement it was probably the hardest thing to develop and took the longest amount of time.
The speed is what makes this skill so impressive.
I mean, there's like fast twitch muscles that I probably don't even know exist that I've developed just by doing it all the time. I can't tell you how many hours I probably put into, messing with these things.
He has 17 different varieties of the cube in his dorm room, and he can solve them all.
All right, Calvin.
Calvin's teammates definitely haven't made it easy for him.
And I solved it by my back, and everybody flipped out.
For him, the cube has become a form of therapy. He tries to complete it at least 20 to 40 times before each game.
I can clear my mind when I do this.
But unlike his workings of the cube, where he knows the end result,
Now they give it inside to Zach Wright.
football presents unpredictability.
Uh-oh, that's Calvin Anderson, their left tackle, where he clearly had the back of his legs rolled up.
Calvin left this past game with an injury, but don't worry, it was just a bruise. After all, what's a puzzle without one of its key pieces?
The Rubik's Cube has kind of given me my identity on the team. People just kind of know, like, okay, yeah, he's got his cube, or yeah, he's nerdy. I am definitely in that category, and I embrace it, though.
At Rice University, Daniel Gotera, KHOU, 11 Sports Extra. Every day at San Jacinto College, the nation's best JUCO team takes the field.
It's a great team. It's fun to be around. They're fairly loose.
And right there beside them is Diego Villatoro, or Coach Wheels, as he's known around these parts.
Inspirational, helpful, he's a great guy always around us.
In a wheelchair since birth, Diego has found a home with this team. He serves as St. Jack's student manager. In turn, the guys have helped him learn how to throw and catch. It's a bond that's hard to break, even if they give each other a hard time.
Not slacking off today.
All the time.
Really, Barfield?
We get mad at each other, sometimes we're not, sometimes we're happy. We had like fun times. You better watch out. I'm watching you.
One of Diego's roles on this team is to relay pitches from the dugout to the catcher. But in mid-March, the skipper decided he needed to do a little bit more and called on him to close out a very important game.
He was telling me, I'm getting nervous, Bane, I'm getting nervous.
Try to stay focused, like try to take the guy out, strike him out.
Well, with 2 outs, Diego took the field. There was never a doubt he would get the job done.
It was like happiness. We won the game.
It was emotional and exciting to see the smile on his face.
I still watch it sometimes. I'd go back and I'll watch it over and over.
The playoffs are next.
Next game, you just be ready, okay?
I will.
And with that smile never leaving his face. In Northeast Houston, Daniel Gotera, KHOU 11 Sports. In the shadows of downtown Houston lies the East End. It's not an easy place to live, but filled with dreams nonetheless.
There you go, non-stop, let's go.
And there's one place in particular that keeps hope alive every day. Welcome to the Knockout Factory.
Get away, guys! This is like a ministry to me where we take boxing to take these kids out of the bad things and turn their negatives into positives. Combination, 1, 2, 3, 2.
Angel Herrera knows all about those times he speaks of.
I grew up fighting a lot in the streets and getting in trouble and stuff like that, and they would always call my mom to go get me out of school. Go!
It's a good thing he quickly realized that energy would be better served in a ring.
This is the kind of thing that changed my life. Boxing changed my life completely. You know, I'm a different person for it, and I'm a better person for it.
He spent years mentoring young kids, teaching them the virtues this sport has to offer. It just so happens Mike Garza was looking to do the same thing.
The East End was our roots, and we knew what the challenges were out in the neighborhood. So we just wanted to bring our gym in here and build upon a foundation that we can leave a legacy.
When he was younger, Garza spent 8 years in the Marine Corps, but was always looking to do something to give back.
I've always had that passion, always wanted to help people.
He joined up with Herrera, helping transition this gym to what once
Non-stop.
was a vacant warehouse off Navigation. Now it's become a beacon for the community.
When I was young, I always told the teachers that I was going to do something with fighting. They said, oh, you're never going to do anything with fighting. You're never going to amount to anything if you're going to be fighting all your life. And I walk into my gym every day and I say, I prove them wrong.
The factory not only exists to train athletes, but also to educate them. It offers an after-school program.
Don't let your feet touch the ground. Ready?
In order to fight, you have to maintain a certain average in the classroom.
No one can ever take your education away from you. Once you're educated, I mean, that follows you the rest of your life.
Make the grade, and you can eventually compete in tournaments the gym hosts throughout the year.
Get away, John,
Teams from across the state want a piece of the action. Ages 8 and up, boys and girls.
Straight down the middle, my legs are right back at her.
Jump in the ring.
Because anything in life is achievable. You know, as long as you're willing to put in the hard work, determination, anything is possible.
Winning is icing on the cake. You see, lives are being changed. That's still a little overwhelming for Herrera and Garza to understand. And this is wild, right?
Yeah.
You're doing this for these kids now.
Yeah, it's wild, but it's like something that was meant to be. It was, you know, it was always in the books. It was always in the destiny. So we're here, and you know, hopefully we can do something great for these kids.
You know, athletes are heroes to a lot of people for the things they accomplish on the field, but offensive lineman David Quisenberry has been given that title by some for what he's been able to do away from the game. He's the perfect example of what perseverance is all about. Life's challenges are meant to teach us, to show us what we're made of.
If I was to say I learned anything,
David Quisenberry has a new perspective on things, given he's still alive.
believe that everything happens for a reason, and I have to believe that.
His story, after all, lends itself to that belief. A talented football player in peak physical shape, all of a sudden getting diagnosed with cancer.
Disbelief, mostly just total, almost darkness. Like you just can't believe that this is happening to you.
With why being the obvious question.
You know, I'd sacrifice so much to get where I've got, and then when you're going through it, you know, you feel like you're the furthest thing from a football player, the furthest thing from a professional athlete. One day being an NFL player, next day being a cancer patient.
During the past year, Quisenberry has endured a lot. 12 rounds of chemotherapy, 5 weeks of radiation, 40 pounds lost, and the mental strain of being away from the field.
It's hard. It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. It is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and nobody should have to fight this bully alone.
Luckily for DQ, he never had to.
What has this organization meant to you?
They probably saved my life, and I don't say that lightly.
No matter the day, no matter how uncertain things felt, they were there. It's probably why he refers to them as his family.
It's amazing to think about that. You know, the amount of support I got from my teammates, from the organization, from the city. When someone's going through that fight, you know, you surround yourself with such strong, positive people that you can feel their prayers. That's a special thing.
It was hard to see it at the beginning, but now he realizes that this fight happened at the right time and the right place.
You know, I came here to get drafted to Houston, and, you know, I got diagnosed here, and they had a specific type of trial chemotherapy for my rare type of cancer that I was diagnosed with. I was a part of an organization where the owner was a cancer fighter. I'm forced to believe that there's a bigger picture.
One where football will seem like his only challenge.
I will be there, and I'll be strapping it up, and I can't wait for that day.
Great work, Dan. Now, he was hoping to play this season, right?
He was, but he was placed on injured reserve. However, Bill O'Brien did say that he will have a spot waiting for him next season, so we know he's going to come out with a vengeance. He'll be ready to go.
Attaboy.
Mike Orlando is like any other baseball parent.
So, Jake.
Edge of your seat anxiety on every pitch.
Not that one.
Mike was nervous 6 years ago, too.
I love managing the team.
He just had a different viewpoint.
It's awesome to see how they've matured as men, and I look back at some of that video and the pictures, and it just doesn't even look like the same kids.
That's a reference to 5 seniors on the Pearland baseball team, you see, because back in 2010, they were just kids, and Mike was their coach at the Little League World Series.
Looking back on it now, I wish I could have all these childhood days back.
Jake Orlando, Jaron Robler, Mason Van Ort, Caleb Molly, and Hunter Smith wear maroon now, but it was blue back then. They won 3 of their first 4 games in Williamsport, scoring 31 runs in the process.
I wish I could still hit for average like that.
And sometimes we watch the videos, watch our old games, watch videos of us playing and whatnot.
I said, let's just get something started.
Breaking ball lifted deep to left field.
It gives you chills. It just brings back memories.
They were rock stars and the center of attention.
I did do a lot of interviews.
Hey, I went 4 for 4 in Williamsport and I hit 2 home runs on ESPN.
Got to play baseball on national television, and probably won't ever get the chance to do that again.
Eventually, the team fell short in the U.S. championship, but by that point, they had made an impact that none of them could have ever imagined.
They don't realize how big of a stepping stone in life that is, and how many people still talk about it 6 years down the road.
All these guys find it hard to believe that the time has flown by so quickly. Well, I gotta be honest, I do a double take as well when I see them on the field. You see, 6 years ago, I was in Williamsport as well. That was my first big assignment for KHOU. Now, the hair was a little different, but the way these guys play hasn't changed much.
The band of brothers we have in between, the group of 5 guys that went now, and then it's the exact same.
Each of them will go their separate ways in the fall.
It's gonna suck not being able to do this in a month or so.
There you go, Caleb!
And to this day, they've never disappointed their coach.
I wondered how it would affect them, but certainly they've grown up just like every other kid.
Mike's just anxious to see how the rest of their story plays out.
My prayer for them was each of them to do something bigger and better than Williamsport. Probably too late for me, but for them, each of them could do something bigger and better than that, I hope.